everyone, how are you all doing today? My name is Blackboy and I am a bassist here on YouTube. So we are now in the second month of 2021 and I hope 2021 is going a lot better than 2020 was for all of you. For me, it's starting to pick up and starting to move along. One of the things that happened in 2020 is that my drummer, and dude is like my little brother to me, got into a major car accident. Now, I just want to let you guys know he's safe he's safe and he's on the road to recovery. But because of his injuries and everything, we had to put the band on hold for a little bit while he recovers. And so, as you can probably see, I'm not at my house. I'm actually up here in Klamath Falls due to work. But my coworker is also in another band, and as we worked on our way up here, we started talking about band politics and how certain things have to go certain ways and how it can just be a nightmare. So today, that's what we are going to talk about, is band politics. This will probably just be a little brief, short video. I'm hoping short and brief, but we will see. So stick around, and actually I'm getting ready to head back home, so I'm filming the intro up here, and when I get back home I'll film the rest. So stick around. After this, we will get into band politics. Alright guys, so like I said before, today we are going to talk about band politics. Now, I have my notes right here, so if you see me look down or if I go to mess with this, that's what I'm doing, just getting my notes, making sure I have my the right placement. Talking about band politics, and in order to do this justice, I'm going to have to break this up into several videos. So this is going to be the first installment of that series of band politics. For this video, we're just going to talk about the internal decisions that a band has to make, or band decisions, and who has the right and the ability to make band decisions, and how much weight how much weight that person or people carry when it comes to making internal band decisions. Now, what is internal band decision making? Well, for this video, let's define it as the people who are able to make important decisions about the internal workings of the band and how much weight each one of them has when it comes to the decision-making process. Now, if you agree with that definition, we can dive deeper into the meaning of decision-making. So, when it comes to decision-making, I believe that every band member has an equal share in decision-making. In short, if you're part of the band and you are contributing to making music, then you should have an equal right in deciding on what direction the band should go and how you guys should go about doing things. Now, this should go without saying, but this doesn't only apply to band politics, but politics in groups of any type of genre, any type of workflow. As long as you are in a group of 2 or more people and you have to make a decision, I believe that this formula, the way this definition that we just outlined it, covers that situation. But anyways, back to specifically about band politics and
making internal decisions for the bands. So, like I said, I believe every member should have an equal share when it comes to the decision making. Now, with that being said, there are a few things that we have to classify. And I also just want to state that this is a very, very boiled down and simplified version, but we're just trying to keep it easy for everyone here. Now, let's start off with who is a band member. That's the whole starting point for this discussion, is who is a band member and how much weight / pull do they have in the decision making process. Now, it's not just as simple as, oh, this person plays drums, this person sings, this person plays the keyboard, plays piano keys, this person is in the band. It's not just that simple. Those aren't the only people. Those aren't the only band members. There are backup singers. There are session players that come in on the regular. That there are even people that they bring on shows with them on the regular basis. These are all, in my definition, to me, I should say, these are all band members. But they each have a different weight, a different pull. So for this, we're going to boil it down to 4 different types of members. We got active, we have former, we have touring, and we have studio members. Now, like I said, that's just a few, and there's a lot more that escape me right now. But for this general purpose, we're going to talk about these guys now, and we'll talk about those other ones in another video. Now, each one of the classes I have just mentioned is kind of very self-explanatory, but we'll go over a brief explanation of every one of those categories for those of you who just can't figure it out, or so that way you also know how I classify and who falls into which category. First off, we have active members, and I wrote a active member is part of the writing process, playing live shows, goes on tours, and is in band promotions, i.e. videos, pictures. These include but are not limited to vocalists, guitarists, bassists, drummers. Alright, moving on to touring members. A touring member is someone who is mostly used for playing live shows and going on tours. These include but not limited to backup vocalists, backup guitarists, extended range of drummers, and many more. Studio. A studio member is someone who is mostly used for recording songs while the band is recording music or in a recording session. This is limited to but not excluding, whatever, you understand. But this just includes session players who come back to record for the band or with the band for more than 3 occasions, and that's very important, more than just 3 occasions. And the last one we are going to talk about today is a former member. A former member is a person who used to be part of the band in any of the previous classes that we have just talked about, but is no longer in that official capacity. All right. So, like I said, that's just my definition of a quick four category tier. Once again, that's active. Ooh, excuse me. Once again, that is active, touring, session, or recording, or studio, and former band members. Okay, with that done out of the way, let's talk about how much weight, pull, or leverage each one of these categories or classes have when it comes into the decision-making process. We're going to start off with the lowest, or people who have the least amount, to the most. So to start off, the people who I believe have the least amount of weight or pull when it comes to the band's internal decision making is former members. And this is pretty much self-explanatory. If you are no longer in a capacity to make any suggestions, any changes, or I'm sorry, let me pull that back. If you are no longer in a capacity so that you are helping out the band in any way, shape, or form, then you should not have any ability, or little to none, I should say, little to none weight or pull when it comes to the band making decision making. Now, if you parted on good terms, like let's say you used to be the band's vocalist, but due to life, you may have had like a couple of kids or something like that, you had to step away from the band, but it was all on good terms, and they still come to you and still ask for your suggestions, still ask for your help, well, then you should have a very little amount of weight and pull. Making suggestions is always great, especially when people ask for your help. And if they ask for your help, they should take your opinion into account and think about it. But if you left on bad terms, if you were fired because you had a drug abuse, if you had a drug addiction, or other legal matters, you should. If you left the band on bad terms, whether or not it was legal reasons, drug substance, or any other things like that, you should have no say-so whatsoever. Being on bad terms means that you are no longer friends. You are no longer, if you're like me, family with your band members, and you should not have any weight, any pull, any ability to steer the direction of the band. That's just it. So former band members should have none to very little weight when it comes to the internal decision making for bands. And once again, we're talking about internal decision making, which is the crucial band decision making stuff. Okay, we're not talking about which logo should we go with to put on merch for this run, or how should the set list go. We're not talking about those decisions. We're talking about how should this song be structured, and which song should go on this EP, album, record, whatever. Anyways, moving on to the next one, which is studio members. These members are people who aren't official members in the band, but the band brings them in for recording parts on a number of songs. And like I said, this is very important, right? My criteria was you have to be brought in for 3 or more times. Now, I feel like these guys should have little to moderate say-so. And why is that? Well, you know what? Now that I think about it, now that I'm running it through my head, we'll come back to studio members. And let's go on to touring members. Yeah, let's go to touring members, because as I'm thinking about it, touring members should have have less than studio. Yeah, so I'm just going to reverse. I'm just going to flip it. Anyways, so touring members are people who, like I said, just come out while they're playing to play shows. They're primarily there to either A, have a much bigger, fuller sound. Like if you're a 3-piece and you want an extra guitarist there so that you can have a fuller sound, or let's say you have recorded a solo and during that there's a riff playing, but you just can't do that by yourself. So you bring out another person while playing live shows. These people should have little to moderate weight or pull. Why? Well, because frankly, they're not important enough to be there while recording, while making the music. But they are there to play it in front of the fans, which is a very, very important aspect and something that needs to be taken into account. And if you're going to play in front of fans, in front of the people who got you to where you are, well, then you got to make sure everyone is up to par. And you got to make sure that these people that you're bringing out to play shows with you, you got to make sure that they gel with you and that they feel comfortable enough to play the songs. And they got to feel comfortable enough on stage, but they got to feel comfortable enough to play the songs. So that's why I feel they should have little to moderate. Now, going back to studio members, and the biggest reason why I decided to flip them is because playing for the fans is very, very important. It's one of the biggest things you have to be prepared for, and it's one of the most crucial things. However, and that's the main reason why I had touring members above studios. But however, studio members are held to a much higher standard than touring members. And that's because of a couple of things. One, when you play a live show, as long as you don't make a big fuss, people aren't going to realize when you mess up. Studio members, when you're in the studio, you have to be on it 100% of the time. Okay? Nothing less than 95% proficiency will work. Okay? That's just me personally. You're in the studio, you're there to work, you're there to give the best performance you can give. You want to give it your all. And if it dips below 95, it's not usable to me. That's me personally. You may have a different percentile or something, but hey. Also, the reason for that is because you are taking something and you're making it, what's the word? You're immortalizing it. Yeah, you're making it immortal. Okay? You're making it part of the brand. When people go listen to the band, this is what they're going to hear. Okay? A studio session recording member, if you are brought in for, once again, more than 3 times for any songs and any albums, that means the band trusts you enough to put your own flavor, to put your own style into the band's repertoire, into that band's image. Okay? And you might not go out on tour. You might not be in their photos, in their music videos. But the fact that you're on their music, the thing that made that band, and the thing that what bands do is they make music. And the fact that you're able to put your style, your touch, your own personal feel to it, says loads. So they should have moderate to a high amount. Moderate to high. Just depends. The more and more you come in, the more and more weight you should have. Which just leaves us with our last class, which is active members. And of course, active members should have the most weight and pull when it comes to internal band decision making. And now this is because, well, it's their band. They are the band. They are there every day, every night. They are there sweating it, fighting in the trenches to make their dreams come true. All right. All right, so let me bring this microphone in closer because I want you guys to be able to hear me clearly on this one. Now, when it comes to who out of the active band members has the bigger say-so, who has the most weight, who has the most pull, you know, it should not, to me, and remember, this is just my personal opinion, it should not be just the vocalist because they're the front man. It should not be, or the vocalist might not even be the front man. It should not be the guitarist or the drummer or the bassist. For me, when it comes to a song in the songwriting process, it should be whoever, the person who has the most say so for that song should be the person who came up with that with the initial song. So if you're in a band and you come up with a riff and you're like, hey guys, let's work this into the song, or let's make this riff into a song, you should be the primary decision maker on that. Now, when it comes to other things, right, that was just for, for the songwriting purpose. When it comes to other things like, hey, who should be the front man? Me personally, the front man, well, the front man's not even a decision maker. When it comes to everything else, like artwork, what photographer we want to go with, what type of video do we want this video to be for our next music video, what studio should we go to, that should all be done in a democratic way by voting. Majority rules. When it comes to things like that, every single person is an equal share. So if you're in a 3-piece, everyone is 33.3 something percent. If you're in a 4-piece, everyone is 25%. If you're in a 5-piece, everybody has 20%, and so on and so on and so on. Once again, this is just my personal belief, and this is how I feel things should go for you and your band when making decisions at the common level. I call this the common level, the everyman day, the weekend warriors, the people who do a week tour and come back and go back to their regular 9 to 5. I'm not talking about those people out there making who are playing packed stadiums and are on tour 8 months out of the year. Those people, in my personal opinion, should keep on doing what they're already doing because it got them to where they need to go. Everyone else, though, for the common man stuff, that's how it should be. Is just, equal voting, except for in the writing process where I believe that the person who has the most say-so or pull should be the person who started initially with that song. And then the person after that should be the person who puts the most work into a song. And the reason why I say that, let me go back to the songwriting process. The reason why I say that is if you came up with a riff, right? But that's all you do is riffs, and your other guitarist is the person who comes up with the structure, who comes up with everything else, the bridge, the chorus, they are going to just in turn be like, hey, this is my song because I wrote this and this and this. And yeah, that's true. They might have written, 35% of the song more than anyone else. But the fact of the matter is, without your initial concept, without your starting off point, they would not have been able to get to where they needed to go in order to make that a song. And that's just my personal opinion on the active band members, who has the most weight and pull between them. Once again, this is a very, very condensed, boiled down, but that's what they are there to do. As you can see, there are a lot of contributing factors when going into making a band decision, especially if you are in a different tier, a different class than the active band members. Just for a quick summary, okay? At the top, we have active band members who are there all day, every day. It's their dream. They're the ones doing all the hard work. They're the ones going out there. They should have the most. Next is recording just recording / session members. Why? Because if they're good enough to put their own personal touches and feels onto the band's sound, that's a big step and a big trust. Next are touring members. Why? Because they're the ones out there actually rocking it and fighting it and in front of the fans. They're the ones playing shows, although they're not in the writing process. And that just holds some weight, but not as much as the other two. And then at the very bottom, we have former band members. These guys, like I said, you could be on good terms with your former band, like the original guitarist from A Day to Remember. Or you could be on completely bad terms, like some of the other people out there. That's mostly other bands. But hey. So, once again, that was a breakdown of my tiers. That is for just internal decision making. Once again, I look at, for this video, internal decision making is the core decisions that have to be made for the band. I.e., how are we going to arrange this song? What songs do we want on the album? What photos do we like best to put on the album? Where are we going to go to record? And of course, I'm talking at a local to regular level. I'm not talking about, you're out there playing stadiums. I'm talking about, for 95% of the people out there, the weekend warrior stuff, the people who are trying to make it big out there. That's what this video is for. There are many, many more topics when it comes to band politics. And like I said, for now, I just briefly wanted to touch on this subject, on these classifications, and just to give you my opinion on how each one of these should go. So for the next video, we will talk about, we'll talk about setting up shows, but I think I want to go how to go about getting ready for the studio and all the politics that go into that. Well, guys, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you guys liked this video. If you guys have any comments or suggestions, jot them down in the comment section below. I'll throw up some more videos that I think you guys might like. One that's my last video, and just another video. Also, feel free to subscribe. I do put out new content every other Tuesday, or at least I try to in these crazy times. Also, go ahead and like this video. That helps me out. And, go ahead, share this video if you think it might help someone else out. Once again, guys, thanks for all you do. I'm Black Boy in the Band, and just remember, keep practicing.